So it looks like we're missing. This is how we get it.
Kyle, Christian,
And I'll go all out. Michael, Zabeni, right?
he's in the bathroom.
Oh, he's in the bathroom. Kyle.
Kyle, I think he's probably gonna go here.
Is he here though?
No, he's not here.
They have Kyle there.
Oh, who's here?
Christian is there.
Christian. I think Kyle's gonna go here. Who put him there?
Miss McCary. Well, he's not here today.
No.
Yeah, he's not.
But he wants the front always. So I say here.
And Christian's also
Ava
out today.
and Christian.
So Ava, Christian, and Kyle are out today. Okay, Jake, are you ready for the quiz? Yeah? Okay. You want to take him? Or you can just sit in the desk in the hallway too. You can like pop in and out.
Yeah.
Unless
Perfect.
you just need your reference table and a calculator. Okay. Thanks. So let's get started. So your homework tonight.
I'm sorry, did you ever find Burbies?
Yeah.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I got it back there.
Okay.
Yeah. You should have it. Right, so today all we're going to do is go over last night's homework. We're going to do page 1 of our notes using the reference table, and then we're just going to finish the density lab today, and then put that on Google Classroom. So, I don't think anybody, no, never mind, I'm not even going to bother with that. If you are misplacing the homework at all, I posted a PDF of it down here, so for whatever reason between now and when you get home, your home window or something, it's posted up here. You can definitely pull it up for yourself. I'm just going to calibrate my board and then we're going to get started. So if you've copied down your homework already, you can go ahead and take out last night's homework, which was homework 1. And let me pull that up. Okay. Right, yeah. What'd you say? Oh, you want to put it back up? Yeah, that's fine. If anyone needs another second to finish copying, it's right up here. In the meantime, if you want to take out your reference tables, you're going to need those for lecture and your notes too.
I love this class. So this is the second slide. She's on screen.
You good? Okay. Okay, let's get started. So last night's homework. First question. Actually, I'll show you how you guys did before we get started. Let's see. Here we go. So the average on last night's homework, let me zoom in a little bit more, was a 5.32 out of 6. So that's pretty good. That's kind of what I like to see. The majority of people had a 5 or a 6. And so tonight, you should be able to kind of pull that up and see how you did. The short answers, I had to go back and just check off the correct answer. I did say spelling counts, so if you spelled it wrong, you did not get credit for this question. Since it was in the homework assignment, I expect that it should be spelled right. I went back and just accepted short answer responses, and then for the multiple choice, you could see for the majority, people are getting these right. So we'll go quickly through this assignment, not spending too much time. The purpose of it was just to give you like a nice overview to kind of see how you did at the beginning of this chapter. Okay, so number 1, what is the actual shape of Earth? So going back, what did we call it? What was the actual shape of Earth called? Yeah.
An oblate Spheroid.
Good. Oblate spheroid. Okay, and if you wanted to find that in the reading, it's literally right here, this sentence. And I'm going to be doing this as we go, so you can see exactly where I found the answers. Okay. Number 2. Why does Earth bulge at the equator? So what is Earth doing to cause the middle of it to kind of get like fatter around the equator? Samantha? Good. Yeah, Earth's rotation, which is what it says right here. Earth bulges slightly at the equator due to its rotation or spinning. So as it spins, it's kind of like someone making a pizza pie. It starts to get fatter toward the center. So we could say rotation, but another word for rotation is spinning. So if you wrote either of those, you'd have gotten credit for this question. Okay? Question 3, I structured a little bit differently. I made it a multiple choice on your homework. But let's list the 4 pieces of evidence that supports Earth's shape as nearly spherical. And instead of writing them down here, I'm just going to underline them in the paragraph so you can see them. Yeah, question or answer?
How about one answer for me?
What'd you say?
How about the answer on there?
He wants to tell you an answer.
Yeah, for sure. Let's go up. So I'm going to underline what you say. Okay, so what's one piece of evidence?
Picture from space?
Good. Yep, exactly. So let me find that in here.
Right there.
Pictures from space. Okay, that is reason number 1. What's reason number 2 that we know that Earth is nearly spherical? Yeah, Madison.
Earth's shadow on the moon,
Yep, there we go. That's reason number 2. What's reason number 3 or 4? Yeah, in the back, Camden. Yep. Okay, that's number 3. That's actually really cool. So if you went to Montauk Point, by where the lighthouse is, and you watched a boat go all the way out away from you, maybe going to Europe, let's say, you would eventually see the mast of the ship sink below the horizon line. Because the Earth is curved, and so the ship would be going around the curve, and you'd be watching that happen. Pretty cool. Yeah. And then the last way that we know that the Earth is curved. Jean Carlo. Yep, exactly. Distant places have different times. So my sister lives in California, and so I would never call her on my way to work because let's say I drive here, I get here at 7:30. So maybe if I called her at 7 a.m. our time, that would be 6, 5, 4 a.m. for her. And so if I called her, she'd probably have a lot of things to say to me that were not nice if I called her at 4 a.m. So we have different times. Likewise, it's about 10. So people that are in Great Britain right now or Europe finish their lunch and maybe they're leaving school if they have similar school times for us. So they're already on the afternoon portion of our day, of their day. Okay? So those are our 4 ways that we know the Earth is rounded or slightly spherical. Nearly spherical is pretty much exactly what this word means, oblate spheroid. Almost a perfect sphere, but not quite. Okay? Now, last one is kind of what we were talking about yesterday when we were talking about the spheres of Earth. I'll write these down in here and then also underline them. So what is the first sphere of Earth called? Yeah, Samantha? Atmosphere, yep, exactly, good. What's the next sphere of Earth called? Maybe the one that's made of liquid. Yeah. Hydrosphere, good. Here. And then the one that's the solid ground that's beneath our feet. What's that one called? Yeah. Lithosphere. Good, exactly. And so in the Google Classroom assignment, I made this as sort of a multiple choice. So you can see how kind of I change around your assignment so that they can be multiple choice, but you have the answers here. So going up to the reading, we have lithosphere, hydrosphere, and atmosphere, just like you said. The atmosphere is the shell of gases that surrounds the Earth. The hydrosphere includes oceans, lakes, rivers, and groundwater. And the lithosphere is the solid part of Earth. And it's the bedrock, continents, and ocean floor. Okay, so those are our spheres of Earth. Any questions on the homework assignment? You guys agreed on this one, okay? So you can put that in the homework section of your binder. And if you don't already have out your notes and your reference table, you can take that out, and you can also take out colored pencils or a highlighter, either one. That was from yesterday. I tried to make it look neater because the yesterday was just like a fiasco. It's so nice, like when the board does what it's supposed to do. I feel like I'm flowing, I'm good. But when it's like all crazy, I'm just like, oh my god.
Yesterday was getting stuff around.
Let me just take attendance quick while you guys are doing it. What do we say? Christian, Ava, and Kyle. And then distance. Okay. Nice. All right. So yesterday we talked about the 3 spheres of Earth, and your homework assignment kind of went over that as well. So today we're just going to look more into the reference table. That's really all today is. And tonight's homework you will not be able to do unless you have your reference table. Hopefully after today you feel a bit more comfortable using it, and any questions that you have should be answered in class before you get to the homework assignment. Okay, so I'm going to be following down this list. Technically you don't even need me here. You could do this set of notes on your own, but we're going to kind of do it together, but just so you see where I'm getting them from. Okay, so the first thing we're all going to do is turn to page 10 in the reference table and look at the diagram. So I'm going to pull that up on my board too. You have your reference table and open to page 10. So you find something that looks like this. And on page 10, I want you to look and find the word lithosphere. So now we're in B in your notes. Find and highlight the word lithosphere at the top center left of the diagram. So if you didn't find it yet, it's right here. So take your highlighter or your colored pencil, whatever you need to do, and you can just kind of highlight the word lithosphere. I'm going to draw a little box around it. It's easier to find. And for all of you people at home, this is the lithosphere. You can highlight or circle this in your reference table. Okay, so now looking at C in your notes, what 2 layers of Earth are included in the lithosphere? There's like a little bracket, and it's just telling you that it includes those 2 layers of Earth. What 2 layers are they talking about? I see 1 hand, good, 2 hands, 3, 4. Cole in the back. Good, exactly. The crust is here, and the rigid mantle is here. So these 2 pieces of the Earth's surface, what we walk around on, is what we call the lithosphere. So the lithosphere is 2 parts. This part, crust, and this part, rigid mantle. If you want to make a little note, you can. Okay, so crust and rigid mantle are right here. The crust, if you want to look more specifically at your reference table, and maybe let me zoom in even a little bit more, just so we can really see what we're looking at here. The crust is this thin black line here, and the rigid mantle is just below it. So if you could somehow dig through the entire layer of crust, you would eventually reach the rigid mantle. Okay, and these are the 2 pieces of your lithosphere. Okay, so in your notes, in letter C, you're filling in crust and rigid mantle. Okay, so I'm just going to go back to the notes and just make sure we're all on the same page here. Okay, so crust and rigid mantle are for C. So just make sure you have that filled in. So we did A, B, and C. So once you have that filled in, you can flip back to the front cover of your reference table, page 1. And this is where most of your homework is going to come from. This page, at the very bottom of the page, labeled Average Chemical Composition of Earth's Crust, Hydrosphere, and Troposphere. Okay, and I'm going to go back to that page 2. And we're right here at the bottom. I'm going to zoom out just a tiny bit also. There we go. And so yesterday, did we label crust, hydrosphere, and troposphere? Okay, we labeled some things. Okay, good. Okay, so let's look at question number, or letter E. So E says, which part of the chart matches one of the included layers of the lithosphere? So we said the lithosphere was made of the crust and the rigid mantle. So which of these is considered part of the lithosphere? Is it the crust, the hydrosphere, or the troposphere? Which one is part of the lithosphere? Madison? Crust. Good. Okay, exactly. So your answer for E is crust. That's part of the lithosphere. And so what two categories is the crust divided into? What two categories is the crust divided into? What do you think, Sarah?
Percent by mass and percent by volume.
Good, exactly. So that's what you're filling in for F. Percent by mass and percent by volume. There's two columns here with two sets of numbers. And the reason that I'm making this distinction is because a lot of times if they ask a question, they'll ask it by one or the other. But a lot of times if they ask by percent volume, your eyes will just go quick to this column and start giving answers. And notice these numbers are not the same. So that's why we're just taking a minute and making sure we're noticing all those little tiny details that sometimes it's easy to look over. Okay, so now we're on letter G in your notes. It says, this chart lists the chemical compositions of parts of Earth. The word abundance means it has a lot of something. What are the two most abundant elements by percent mass in Earth's crust? Okay, so we're going to look in the percent by mass column and see if you can write down which two is there the most of. And when you have an idea, take out your whiteboards and we're going to share these answers together. Google? Okay. Same exact thing. Yep. Okay, so remember the question you're answering for me is which element, which two have the largest percent by mass in the Earth's crust? Thank you. Okay, so you should be writing down two elements. And we're going to be using these whiteboards probably for the rest of the class, so keep them handy. Oh, you're going to be writing down anything else? That's the idea.
Here.
Okay. Looks like most people are ready. You can tell me you're ready by putting your whiteboard face down on your desk. That way I can visually see that you're ready to go on to the next question. That way I know who needs a couple more minutes versus who is not. more seconds. If you're not sure, put a question mark. We will be going over this. Okay, so now I'm going to say, show me your answers, but I'm going to count down from 3. And on 1, everybody shows them to me at the same time. So show me your answers. 3, 2, 1. Let's see here. I like what I see. Oxygen and silicone are the most abundant by mass. Oxygen is at 46.1%, silicone's at 28.2%. Yep, good. So in your notes, just make sure you're writing down the actual names themselves. So oxygen and silicone was for G. So make sure you copy that down on your whiteboards and then in your notes. And now, when you're finished copying that down, look at H and see if you can answer that question. So next question I'm going to ask you is letter H. So use your reference table, same kind of idea, but now you're using the other column. So now not percent by mass, but instead percent by volume. Again, once you're finished, just put your whiteboard face down on your desk so we know you're done. And this one's a little bit harder because they're not quite in order. So you're answering this next question. What are the two most abundant components by percent volume? So now you're going to use this column. Okay, just about one more minute. As a little clue, one of them should stay the same and the others should change. You should have 2 answers there. Okay, show me your answers. 3, 2, 1. Oxygen again is correct, and potassium is correct for this one. 94.04% oxygen percent by volume, and then potassium is 1.42. Good. Okay, so make sure you write those down in your notes under H. And then for letter I, we have a different kind of question. So take a look at I. I says, not including the other category, which is along the bottom, what are the 2 least abundant elements by percent mass in the Earth's crust? So least, not counting the other. Okay, about one more minute. Okay, so show me your answers for this one, even if it's question mark, that's okay. 3, 2, 1. Potassium, good, and magnesium is correct. So magnesium and potassium are on the lower part of this list, so they have the least amount, 2.09 and 2.33, and we weren't counting the other category. That's why we didn't say that one. Okay? So magnesium and potassium. So make sure that's in your notes under I. And then for J, the same question, but now for percent by volume. Okay, so now we're going to use this column, same question. What is the least abundant 5% volume for the Earth's crust?
I'm very sorry.
Can we please post the Dazzler to the office for dismissal?
Yep, no problem.
Thank you.
Colson, I'm just going to give you a homework for the Yeah.
So just leave it so it'll
Okay,
play
and
out,
then you.
and then I'll do
you
it,
can-
yeah.
Okay. We have lab today too.
Yeah, so I didn't know if you were gonna stop the meeting.
Okay,
Whatever
yeah.
you wanna do.
Okay. All right, so let's see your answers for J. So write those down if you have them. So this one's a little bit trickier because these are not in order. If you notice, this column's nice and in order for you from largest to smallest, but this one is not. Okay, show me your answers for this one, please. 3, 2, 1. So you have magnesium and aluminum. Good. Okay, magnesium and aluminum are the least by percent volume. Okay, so now, hi Colson. I'm just going to reveal all the answers that you should have for this section. And I'm going to give you a little bit of practice to do. So at the bottom of the page, there are 7 questions that say show what you know. So now is your independent practice time. We will eventually do all of these answers together too, but I want to give you a chunk to do all at once. So go ahead and give these a try. And also, if you're having trouble, now's a good time to ask. Let me know, and I can come show you things if you're having trouble. Okay? And if you want to just make sure you have everything copied down correctly, I put it up here too, so you can check that out as well.